yeah, man advantage is lost. You go back into, I guess, attacker continuing the not hitting his shots. It's going to be rough to win games because you had all the advantages in that round. And Freeman did such a good job to find 2 kills and doing significant damage onto Malta that you would expect them to win out a round like that more often than not.
It really was a case of the first map just being, so how many smokes do we push? And somebody's just like, yes. Yes, we do. See if it can happen here on Dust2. I think Dust2 is a bit more forgiving, though, because typically a lot of the choke points you have to go really aggro out of.
Absolutely. See what comes of it, though. Summer in a prime position here to do a lot of tag damage with the scout. It's going to end with nothing, though. Swift death. Urkus deals with him. Attacker and Bentet combining. Long range of the AKs, though, going to be pretty beneficial in a situation like this. Bentet's doing his damnedest, though, to get some damage in. And damage he will get. All right, then. 1v1.
Oh, and he's landed the shot as well. 1 bullet this time, and he picked off the 1v4. Oh, this is why you don't face him 1 by 1, guys. Even if he's at a quiet tournament, he's always got the capability of ripping your face clean off.
And this is why you keep getting reeled back into the TYLOO hype, right? Because of Bentet, because of what he can do.
I can't quit you, TYLOO.
Yeah.
Even when you throw away 14-10 leads, I can't quit you.
Oh, utilizing that smoke to perfection. And the fact, I'm so surprised that it didn't go back to the pistol once he got the tag on the scout, right? Knowing that he's gonna die immediately, you get a connection, but it just lands the scout shot itself. Why not? That was a quick turnaround. If this is gonna be the pace that Bentet is coming out on, and map number 2, we might be getting onto a third. We might be seeing Train.
There's a lot of distance between then and now, and that's what Grayhound will be saying to themselves. We want to tie this up at a 2-0, clean sweep, flawless streak to the Major. Bentet, perched at the back of the site, does have some support in the form of somebody, but his head has been removed. Live by the scout, die by the scout. Sicko, alongside the rest of his team, going to be pushing in. Malta takes first point of contact. Damage has been inflicted to somebody. This is where the pistols can shine, but he's still standing tall, giving enough time now for Attacker to make a move up through long. The plant is secure. They cannot stop this. And Dick Stacey's going to be called upon with his Desert Eagle, and he is going to fail that test. Sicko can't do his best Bentet impression, and so TYLOO will take the 2-1 lead.
A great opener from Sicko, though. Bentet getting caught by surprise there, but somebody makes up for it. Does a good job of just holding off on Goose, and you also, you know, got to give credit to Attacker when credit is due. He doesn't actually get completely sold on it. He realizes that he needs to hold off long, almost regardless of what kind of position somebody is put into, because if they lose track of that and then get sandwiched, it's just going to be bad for, well, the entirety of the round is over. At least if he stays alive, there's the option of a retake. So he's able to find the late lurk on Greyhound's side as well, while somebody does all the work he needs to with the UMP from Goose.
Nearly full-on Desert Eagles. The Wild West here on Dust2. Definitely didn't have Desert Eagles in Cowboy times, but we'll just run with it. Maybe if the R8 was out, we'd have... Rest in peace, the R8, by the way. Absolute garbage.
Yeah, I don't think even Alu or Snacks uses that anymore.
Absolute garbage.
I never understood why they just didn't have like a reskinned version of the Deagle being a revolver, because I think that's what everyone wanted. They didn't actually want a new weapon, especially that's so finicky, and the shooting mechanics of it that just will never make sense.
I can tell you they definitely didn't want it when the R8 was first released, and could pretty much kill 4 people with 1 bullet.
Doesn't matter the distance, it's just an op.
Perfectly balanced.
Balanced in all things. Right now we're seeing order restored, no more shenanigans with the pistols for the time being. TYLOO are handling this pretty nicely to start us off. Dick Stacey does have 1 more shot to deal some damage, but Bentet's going to get the better of him in that scenario. And TYLOO, I'm curious if we're going to... Again, it's hard to really get sold on them after what we saw in Inferno. They can play as well as they want. They could have a perfect CT side here. They could win 13-2, and I can still expect them to mess this up somehow.
That's how far the trust has fallen. But again, you still can't quit them because you see
Benta,
play. Or like somebody will actually do a smoke push that gets him 4 kills, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember a somebody play. I remember.
It is definitely true. Just blessing and a curse of teams like this. Now they get to go up against the full buy of Grayhound. They're not going to have all the Molotovs and doodads that they wish they had, but at least they have an op on Sicko, and he's been relentless with it throughout the entirety of the tournament.
Well, Grayhound going to have to fast-track their way up catwalk if they're going to have success anytime soon, because somebody was making a move towards CT side. He's now thought better of that decision.
Ledge smoke comes up on short. Just a flash response on the side of TYLOO, but they're going to tuck one player into Goose now. And somebody, once more. Here goes Malta with a drop down. Yeah, TYLOO definitely aware of this. Saw this having a much higher success rate versus MVP, and the aggressive move from somebody. He saw smoke, so he needs to get past it. And this time it's going to net him 2 kills.
Dexter and Sicko standing tall, delivering 1 kill, but they're both clumped up together, and they've got 23 seconds at their disposal. The foot is going to betray Dexter, and Sicko, try as he may, it's unlikely he's going to get the round done, so he's going to go and save his AWP. He's piecing out of here. I almost feel like Grayhound got baited into a false sense of security, because that setup's very good against AWPers, but not so much against rifles. You saw Bentek could just peek around the corner, spray into Malta, and the round was pretty much over.
Yeah. And I'm curious if that's TYLOO recognizing off of the fact that Grayhound have done similar executes earlier in the tournament versus MVP, as we saw, or if it's them just kind of, well, they can recognize it off of, I guess, the nades that come out, right? If you see the banked smoke that's meant to land on the corner, that kind of gives you a bit of a tell as to what they might want to do. Mm-hmm. And if that's how they make the decision to push on to Malta. But we saw versus MVP, Malta's able to get up there for free, finds 2 kills, round over pretty much. But if he gets stopped, all of a sudden, it's not that easy to move forward on catwalk.
Well, this is based off Sicko. They need him to get a peek, to have some impact before he goes down. Still no Kevlar is going to be a problem.
It's going to be an op-on-op duel as well if he decides to move forward on B. They have 1 flash on Dexter, though, so maybe they have something lined up for that. Nope, is going to be the answer.
As you say, the op-on-op having to slow peek. Always going to be a rough prospect, and it is pretty much a shutdown. Summer makes sure his last bullet
it counts.
True. Gets a 4K for his troubles, but that is Grayhound's. I was going to say their eco, but actually their economy's not in great shape now because Sicko saved. He only had like $150 left. Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit wobbly for the next couple of rounds, but you can still manage. You don't necessarily need an op, as nice as it is to have on the map. You can definitely get some work done without it, too. We've yet to see Grayhound pounce a lot towards long early on. Haven't necessarily had the spawns for it. And that's actually something that can be pretty punishing on a map like Dust2. If you end up in a spawn cycle that don't actually give you very good long spawns, it can be pretty detrimental to your T side.
Yeah, all you have to do is go back and watch our previous best of 3 event against MVP, and you've seen all those long spawns were used very efficiently.
Yeah, it was a long fiesta.
2 players clumped up on shorts. Grayhound just going back to the default. Somebody tries to flick across and land a headshot, but he's going to miss. Therefore, throws a Molotov down to stall a push.
Getting himself in a position behind the car as well, so he can peer into mid as well as helping out on short whenever Ventet spots some nades or anything like that. But Grayhound, they want to go back towards the upper tunnels. Summer still posted up with an op here. We're going to need some utility or just a really well-placed shot for this to work out.
Yeah, it's Freeman that has the smoke on the site, but they're going to be slow peeking again. They're okay to sacrifice the 1 player, but they need to try and get some counteractive kills coming in. And Summer, who legged Dexter, does finish him off. Urcast in the meanwhile's got themselves 2, and Sicko nearly spins around with the Galil. This is where he prefers to have had the AK-47. Urcast, bomb plant, still full HP, and a Molotov. He'll be looking to back away towards the cart, try and lower the angles that he has to watch out for. Of course, in the back of his mind, though, he's going to be worrying in case someone's coming through tunnels, and it's in that indecision that Attacker pops out and claims the head. And TYLOO will have a 6-1 lead.
There we go. It's not perfectly synchronized retake on the side of TYLOO as well. They do have a smoke that they could have used to allow somebody to get an, I guess, easier time of walking in through the doors. They also could have the off peeking in first, giving yourself a little bit more of an opportunity, because if somebody's to miss one shot, he has a bit of a wait time before he can get into the action again. But still works out for TYLOO. Once again, good strong start on their end, but we need to see that being the case for the entirety of the match at this stage.
Sure, but there's no doubting that coming into the second map, we wondered, is that going to be playing in the back of their minds? Are they going to be kind of tilted to a degree? I think the answer is no. Like, you're seeing now that they're coming out pretty clean. They're landing some really good shots. We're having Summer having a good performance. Ben Tet's also showing up, which is a big question mark that they were throwing over on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these questions have been answered, but as you say, I mean, it's all well and good getting a lead, but you've got to hold on to it. You can't have a repeat performance of what happened on Inferno.
I think a big thing as well is that Dexter's been such a reliable performer for your Grayhound throughout this tournament, is having a bit of a rough start. We don't necessarily see him too often. 1-7. That can obviously turn as we continue on with the first half, and that would obviously be a massive boost for Grayhound. Summer peered up in the middle this time. Not going to be holding deep inside the B-bomb site. Might not be for long, I suppose. Just one flash that doesn't really affect him, and he's going to get his way out of there.
It seems like Grayhound are reverting back to the same ideas time and time again, though. Yep. I mean, it is just classic Dust2, really, in a nutshell, is mid-control into catwalk presence.
Absolutely. It's more about being able to win out duels, because they haven't really gotten too many kills in a lot of these scenarios. It's been a lot of rotation pickoffs and that kind of stuff that gives them at least a semblance of a chance in the rounds, but the initial takes haven't been too strong.
Oh, this blue container is so very deadly against this exact play. They're not going to be flashing up high. They're flashing just through the doors. So Attacker can bide his time, and they're never going to check the angle. They're going to be too busy checking out pit and long. Oh. Missed shot, but it's not going to cost them a great deal. I mean, Dick Stacy is nowhere near the bomb. Can maybe put a couple players down, but it's actually just going to be the one, and TYLOO going to be fending off and fobbing off the tactical timeout. It's going to yield really nothing at all for Grayhound.
Is that a smile we on TYLOO as well? Not bad. So, yeah. Inferno just already forgotten about. Somebody finding that early frag buys all the space in the world for Attacker to find himself a double kill. All right, great job so far from TYLOO again. They've managed to reel him in. I'm starting to believe.
This is the trick, Vendetta. This is it.
I'm willing to go on this wild ride. Dexter goes down with the scout. So no more tag damage, at least to start us off. Bomb's also been dropped back, and suicide. So somebody needs to retrieve that on the side of Grayhound. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that they're using their utility already, considering that it's going to be hard to plant the bomb without anyone carrying it with you. Seems like Malta's been tasked with the job of picking that up again. Arca still has one more smoke. It could be for a ledge smoke, and then just, I guess, hope for the best. Maybe you do run boosts off the back of it, see if you can get some lucky connections with the Deagle.
But I mean, that is a pretty considerable, significant oversight, though, from Grayhound, as you say. They tossed in their utility, and they're like, hold on a second, we don't have the bomb. So I mean, you've stalled out a push. You've got no utility left other than one smoke.
Yeah.
You've pretty much telegraphed you're going to push Catwalk 2. Like, you've done yourself no favors in that round.
It's not ideal. Then, I guess upside is it was only limited investment on the side of Grayhound here, so very unlikely that they would have been able to win out a round from this situation regardless. But yeah, you want to do things properly the entirety of the time. Well, now, weapons on the backs of Grayhound as well, up back in the arms of Sicko. So maybe they can actually start to build a bit of a comeback. It's been rough going of it so far, though.
So keep in mind, the winner of this, of course, as we've mentioned, does qualify for the major, but the loser plays MVP PK.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have it as a guarantee that either of these teams are just going to wash away MVP either. These are teams that play each other fairly often, even though there's significant distance between the different nations. Being in the same region, you do run into each other a fair few times.
Taka going to be called upon again. This time, he's playing the other side of the blue container. That flashbang, not effective at all.
Attacker just stood in the open regardless.
Somebody going to get traded out. 3-on-3, one of the better chances that Grayhound have had. Bentet caught between two separate angles, but he's actually cordoned off one of them. He's made this one-dimensional. 30 seconds, he's in the same position. He struck with a 1v4. Nearly lands the spray. Malta tagged down to 15. He should have done enough for the rest of his team to capitalize, and indeed they shall. It's Summer that AWPs down Malta 9-1. So this is getting terrifying for Grayhound.
Have they converted you? That is the big question.
They never lost me, Van.
They never lost you?
I can't quit TYLOO, man. As much as I try, I always come back.
It is a bit of a strange relationship, having hopes for TYLOO. But again, they're delivering right now here on Dust2. It is the map pick of Grayhound. Not that it actually looks to be the case, the way it's panning out right now. And the double ops, yet again, raining out for TYLOO. Bentet's going to get real aggressive and going to get real well, successful as well. 2 kills to his name with the help of somebody. And the brunt of the push already killed off, and somebody's in position once again to deal with Catwalk. This is something we saw MVP not being able to do.
Oh, Summer.
He's not somebody, so he will actually stay on this side of the smoke.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, this would have been the ideal time as nobody on the side of Grayhound is checking for it. Freeman. You have to be aware that, yeah, I was about to say that you don't have your buddies covering that angle. There we go. Smoke eventually fades. Summer peers through. TYLOO, yet another successful round with everybody surviving as well. So not only are they winning rounds, but they're doing it so cleanly that they're going to have enough bank to last them an eternity.
Yeah, true, and they're playing more disciplined. I mean, one of the downsides of somebody is his reputation kind of precedes him with these smoke pushes. If you start to play a lot more conservative and passive, it makes the actual smoke pushes and the aggressive sort of ballsy plays that much more effective because they're not expected anymore.
That's absolutely true.
So you actually have this knock-on effect. You saw that. I mean, you called it. Summer is not somebody. He's the guy. He's like the brains behind the operation. He's going to sit behind the smoke. He's going to play safe. You're in a 4v2. One of the only ways that Grayhound can get back in that round is if you give a free kill away, and then they can take the B site. It's effectively going to be a 2v2 retake, right? And that's going to be difficult for TYLOO to pull off. So I like to see that from TYLOO, and it's a completely different look to what we saw on Inferno.
You say that, but this is what we saw at the start us off on the CT side of Inferno for TYLOO, right? Like, this is what we were expecting. We thought they would close it out 14 to 10. It would be a 16 to 10. On to Dust2 we go, and we'll take it from there. But it's just sudden lapse and complete 180 in approach to how they played their CT side that gave a bit of an in for Grayhound, and they took it. So we'll see if it stays strong, though, for the side of TYLOO. That's a great start. Malta already taken out of contention.
Oh.
All right, when it rains, it pours. Well, Sicko, is he going to try his luck as well? Summer seems to be up for the challenge instead of somebody.
I thought
on a bit of a walk, just completely open in mid.
You just know in his mind he was seeing the blade glistening in the sun. And you thought, do I pull it out? Nah.
And attacker's going to fend off Urkes that long. Dexter has no idea that Bentet's pushed aggressively into lowered. So TYLOO are just looking as dominant as they did on Inferno, if not even more.
Oh, this is, in my eyes, this is way more dominant than Inferno, because at least in Inferno, Grayhound got the first pistol, they got a 4-0 lead. in some of the rifle rounds that they did concede, they were still taking 2 or 3 players with them. And now here on Dust2, a map that I think most people would agree is more even in terms of CT and T-sided than Inferno is. You're absolutely blowing the doors off of this 11-1, and Grayhound are into a really poor buy again.
All right, somebody, you're going to hear a ton of people working up short, but it's only Bentet there to defend. He's going to get flashed off the angle. How long is he going to stick around for this? They might have to just concede the bomb plant. Not that it really matters at this stage for them. I'm just going to find the first frag. It's a nice shot from Summer.
Just see a millimeter of his head protruding over the catwalk. Nearly get a second. Freeman spins around, gets Dexter. I don't know how TYLOO were just managing to survive for so very long. Bentet, the first player that was flashed multiple times, is here to potentially seal the fate of round 13, but it's Freeman that gets there ahead of him. It's the same result, though, Ven.
It is. It is. It's another TYLOO round when, even though it gets a little bit shaky there in the middle parts of it. But TYLOO played that pretty decently, all things considered. Yeah, it's a little bit fortunate that Freeman's able to live as long as he is when he's got pretty much 4 eyes peeking towards him. Here we see it swinging around. That's a big kill. And Bentet actually being able to make the cross. Malta had an op, but he was only on 7 HP. And I don't think he was in a position to just nab, you know, anyone crossing by.
Neil's reaction. He cannot believe it. Bentet's done us again.
Yep. And it's a bit of an issue for him in this kind of situation as well, right? Because what do you really give in terms of feedback? Because you've been trounced in any approach you've had. Again, we haven't seen Grayhound have exceptional long spawns throughout their T sides, so it's hard to really say that, you know, we're going to focus all of our utility just to get long control and work off of that, because it's not going to be as easy once you have set positions on the side of TYLOO.
The thing is, it feels like a cop-out, but it genuinely feels to me like just Grayhound have gone to sleep in terms of their individual performances. You have Dexter, who's on, I think, like 1 for 13.
And that's a first time in a long while, because he's been pretty much exceptional throughout this entire tournament.
Exactly. So you've got your big heavy hitters basically having 0 impact. Yes, TYLOO are playing great CS, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Of course they are. But Grayhound themselves haven't really got out of first gear, it feels like to me. Now, is that maybe the pressure, realizing that you're so close to qualifying for the Major?
Could be. Bentet was knowing what's coming, even though that was a similar approach to what we saw when Malta dropped down to actually push out long. Bentet's just expecting it. Gets the follow-up on Dick Stacy as well. Somebody's there to find Urcast. The 2 players remaining are about to be greeted by Freeman. And they're not loving what they're finding. Summer with a final kill as well. TYLOO. Well then. I said they could lead 13-2 and I would still not be convinced. I might have to eat my words because this is just so one-sided. And again, this is also one of the reasons why I hate seeing teams pick Dust2 as their map pick. It just feels so volatile, and just win rates don't matter on this map. Everything's just wishy-washy. It's as cheesy and cliche as it sounds. It's, you know, like anybody, you know, any given Sunday kind of a map. Anybody can win at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're into round 15, and collectively the team has 26 kills. I mean, they're not even averaging 2 per round, you know?
That's quick maths.
I'm pretty sure somebody or Summer is up to like 19 or 20 kills by themselves.
Yeah,
So,
that would be Summer. And Bentet's already up there as well.
17 or 18, yeah. I mean, this has just been a bloodbath.
Somebody's just behind people again. As you said, Dust2 much more forgiving for these kind of pushes. So
100%.
many more avenues that you can take.
Especially when Grayhound are being very much telegraphed in their approaches. Dick Stacy, that's a kill
not
he's
even
got to
that.
get. That really is just, that sums up this entire map so far. Summer gets an opportunity to come back in. As to TYLOO, 14-1 in the lead, and Grayhound on the brink of losing their first map here at the minor.
Yeah, and what a fashion they would do it in as well. And now if you're TYLOO, you're thinking to yourself, like, damn, why didn't we just do our job on Inferno? We could have been cruising into the Major at this stage.
Yep.
Ending out the second map, you know, 16-1 or what have you. And just, yeah, loving life. But yet to be the case. We'll see how it all pans out, though, if there's a comeback in store for Grayhound. But we're going to head to a quick commercial break.
It's been a massacre, and TYLOO have been at the helm as Grayhound desperately try to pick up the pieces of their choice of map, Dust2. They're going to be moving across, at the very least, a small silver lining on the very dark cloud looming overhead. They're moving through to the CT side. It's good to see, though, there's a few smiles, and they look a bit more relaxed.
The Aussies have been pretty good about it. We saw smiles out of Avant as well when they got stomped 16-0 by Grayhound. So, light-hearted gang.
The thing is, though, I feel as if Avant, not that they came into this tournament expecting nothing to happen, but Grayhound have a lot more expectations on their shoulders. They are very close to actually qualifying, so...
And I think that it's everything kind of shifts
For a lot of these teams because Renegades are not here, right? It's not a guarantee that Renegades are going to be able to hold on to that spot where they don't have to go back to an Asian minor, right? So this is really just the prime time to be able to make your way to a major for all of these teams.
Did seem like that early 1v4 that BenTet picked up was a difference maker. And also, something we haven't mentioned is Greyhound's one round was the pistol. So
I didn't want to go there. Felt too dark.
Too soon.
Felt too dark. We'll see if they can pick up another one, though. It is pistol territory. So far, though, Eric just taking the brunt of the damage. That's a nice shot from Dexter. He had a really slow first half. He's so important to the Greyhound squad. At least he gets them off on the right foot here in the second half.
Well, has to start with the small step of the pistol. Freeman had an opportunity. This is where the USP will reign supreme at range. Seiko through with one of his own kills. And it's BenTet who has been the ruiner of dreams, and he's going to go in for a second frag, but he's been tagged down significantly to 47. The bomb was in a horrible spot anyway. Everything was stacked against him, but Greyhound have doubled up. They're on to the 2 rounds. They've gone both pistols.
And so it begins. Oh. You can see just how dominant it's been as well. It's not many rounds where TYLOO go down to the very brink of it. You have, as you mentioned, the pistol round where Greyhound wins out, and then the crazy, crazy clutch round from BenTet with the Scout. Outside of that, they never got actually down into a 1v1 situation or anything to that effect.
And, I mean, you saw on that graph how many skyscrapers there were, where all of TYLOO's players survived. There were 4 or 5 rounds.
Skyscraper is bad, if you want the simple explanations if you're Greyhound.
If you're TYLOO, it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. A little cheeky smoke, getting caught on the door. Just gives them a little bit of a gap to work with when they look through the double doors, moving through catwalk.
Yeah, prevents any ARPR from picking you off. Works in that fashion, the similar way to a big box smoke, but also allows you to peer for the legs underneath. You tuck yourself right into the right angle if somebody were to stray through. That's this double scout investment on the side of TYLOO, so I'm a little bit surprised to see them actually stack up over towards catwalk. It's harder to get both of them active with it. Double smoke for mid, so box is also covered up. That means the boost is not going to be effective, but Freeman from Dexter from window is going to have no problem dealing with this, and the scouts are not doing a whole lot just yet.
As you say, I mean, there's not much explosiveness when it comes to the scouts in this sort of position. You want to be going along the more expansive angles.
Yeah.
And it's gone pretty much the way you'd expect. It's been a clean sweep.
A little bit surprised by that fact, unless they were hoping to double peek with the scouts on catwalk to just get an immediate kill instead of having just tag damage being done. But that's the only justification I could see for TYLOO actually committing to short off of that. I'd much more expect them to actually throw down the smoke they do in mid, see if they get a reaction out of Dexter from window or any one of the B players, and have a scout posted up to see if you can get a kill on that, right? So you see, got a look as to how TYLOO planted that door smoke.
Simply yet effective. Definitely picked that one up for matchmaking.
Absolutely so.
Although
it's pretty neat as well if you have nobody on your team who knows how to do the mid-box smoke.
Yeah. But you'd be surprised how many people don't know these pretty basic smokes on Dust2 maps have been around forever. Either way, it's a full-on eco push. There's a few pistols, but it's really not much to get behind. There's one of the Desert Eagles coming into play. MP9, is the bomb going to get planted?
Plant?
Yes, it is. Ooh. So a kill and bomb plant.
Success.
Yeah. They'll take it.
Absolutely. It's going to mean that they're going to have a pretty decent buy. Attacker sitting at 6.1k. So they might be dropping an op over. might be off of spawn to see who goes riding with it, or if it's just going to be dropped over for Summer. Not sure if they actually dropped anything over. No, they haven't. So just going to roll out with AKs and 1 SG onto Freeman. But they have all the utility in the world. And again, a pretty hefty cushion as well.
I wonder if they've anticipated a heavy investment for AWPs and they're just going to play really aggressive this round.
Could be.
With the assault rifles.
Grayhound on there, though, they have a double op. But it's going to be Dexter actually wielding it. That's because he's the solo defender of that A-bomb site. No, B-bomb site. Excuse me.
And he's been one of the best players in any of the minors statistically, but he's having a really rough game. He was on 1 kill at the end of the first half, I believe.
He's gotten up to 4 now.
Yeah.
So it's at least something. It's a start. Oh. Dick Stacy getting caught out here. And he doesn't really have any backup. You can see how tucked away Sicko is in that corner. Gotta get the angle on it, and here comes the pressure from Catwalk as well, and Sicko had no chance of actually surviving, and this is gonna have to be a save.
Yeah, Dexter, as you said, the aforementioned AWP on the B side, can't do anything to help out Malta. And it did seem like Dick Stacy was just left out to dry there.
But that has to be a mess up, either from Sicko's side or Dick Stacy's side, and just a really bad setup in general, right? Because Dick Stacy is so far removed. He's not in a position where you can necessarily throw a flash from where it's going to be super effective, because he's going to have to turn his back with how open he is. He doesn't have any retreat path, and Sicko's not on the corner or anywhere near to be able to swing wide for him. So I'm curious if that was just a setup being in transition, TYLOO finding the right time to pounce on it, but it looked a little bit silly, especially because of how easy it gets picked apart. TYLOO, they're going to get to map point. And at this stage, you're hard-pressed to find any sort of way for Grayhound to bring it back from this stage, right? Like, we're very likely going to train at this stage.
Now, for me to begin to believe they'd had to have had a pretty much a flawless start in the second half, maybe get us back to like a 14-8, 14-9 score. And then I'm thinking, okay, you know, double AWPs are both rattling off kills, but to lose the first rifle with the double AWP in such a disappointing way doesn't really fill me with confidence. So yeah, I think train is definitely going to be our next destination.
We'll see though for how long Grayhound can hold on. They're still going to be able to rock double ops. Now we're going to need to see them actually be brought into action. None of them actually netted any frags in the previous one. Somebody's running with the op, and oh, that's a perfect flash for Malta's position, and he's quickly dealt with. That's the B bomb site open for business.
Just had his retinas burnt out his skull, couldn't see a single thing. There was a chance for Urkas to maybe bring this back into a solid position. He has done a lot of damage with the wall bangs to Bentet and Freeman.
Really has, and bomb's yet to go down. Quick rotation coming in through upper as well with 2 players. Might be a little bit earlier pressure than TYLOO are expecting.
Somebody thwarting Sicko's position. Dick Stacy going to pick up the AWP for himself. What can he get done? Solid flick to somebody. Bentet, close right, 10 HP, drops down. Dick Stacy's heard it. He's on the prowl for more, but Attacker's going to lay him to rest. Last 2 players very low, but time is dwindling away. Attacker can't get it done, and there was a team kill. Attacker actually killed Freeman through a Dexter. What the hell?
Surviving with 2 HP as well. And I mean, that is about as close as you can get it for Grayhound, and it's not sustainable, but it is around.
I was like, wait, there's a player. No, no, he's died.
Gone. Yep.
Oh, no. 2 HP.
That is really unfortunate, because it's the right move, again, from TYLOO. They want to double peek it. It's just that they're on so low HP. Even if you know, just by tagging up Dexter, some of those builds are going to go through him and actually end your teammate. Just unfortunate. TYLOO are going to have plenty more chances, and you look at the rebuy coming in from both sides. You're favoring TYLOO any day of the week with this one.
Yeah, there was actually a play earlier on Inferno that we were talking about back in Dark and New Box, and we said the same thing. Maybe worried about team killing, so you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Better after just typing killing console and letting it all settle.
I suppose TYLOO can cry into their 15 rounds, though. Yeah. Like, you know, wipe away the tears with the $100 bills.
They had so much money stacked up as well, so yeah, rebuying it all up onto Summer is not going to be an issue. 2 SGs on Freeman and somebody. plenty of nades to do whatever they want. This time it looks like they might want to go back to the same exact setup with a... See if they just throw the short smoke down and then pop out a flash, or if they're just going to go off of contact. That's going to work out nicely for Dexter initially, at least. This is a lot of damage.
It's a really solid smoke, though. It allows Malta to try and play around. If he can be patient enough and get the right timing, it funnels them into his advantageous positioning. Flashbang. Going to hit Bentet, but not hard enough to fully blind him. 40 seconds to go, and the other CT is Urcast in tunnels, and he's making a move with his UMP. Bentet, again, it's a roll of the dice. You're just hoping for the best. You're hoping to get a bit fortunate. That smoke's not going to clear in time. Let's see what he's looking for with the plant up on the ledge. And now the smoke is dwindled, and Dick Stacey, patience proves costly for TYLOO. Still, of course, have a huge amount of rounds at their disposal, but Grayhound are starting to get a bit of a flurry on.
Fighting back, for sure. Dick Stacey grabbing 2 kills in that round as well, so he's starting to come alive as well. He had a similar first half to what Dexter did. Rough time getting on the board, but now having a lot of impact. But yeah, as you said, TYLOO just wiping their tears with all the money they've been able to obtain and all the rounds that they're sitting on.
I thought it'd be fair, considering where some of those bills have been. Don't really want them near my eyes. May do more harm than good. There is a smoke planted down in the long doors. Dick Stacey can push up close, try and take the initiative.
Somebody's aware of the fact that this might be a possibility, though. Seems spamming through. Haven't connected with anything just yet. And as I say that, he gets all the connections he needs.
Rest in peace. That's significant too, because it's going to keep the A site very much bare. Sicko's by himself, and now Urcast has to make a move over. This is giving mid control completely up to TYLOO.
I mean, this is quite the rotation to make as well. You go hard on actually defending that B bomb site. So rotations over towards A is going to take just about an eternity. So you're putting everything on Sicko and Urcast here to be able to find multi-kills. Now actually TYLOO slowing it down a little bit. It's going to allow for Malta to get close to mid. Dexter in forward position over towards B.
I feel like Sicko's got to strike at least one time, and Bentet takes his head off. He's really been the monster that we were looking for on Dust2. Summer, in the meanwhile, is going to make short work of Urcast. It's looking like it's all going to be done. Dexter, 1 on 5, has got the first kill, nearly the second. But they're going to double peek him from separate angles, and TYLOO, such a solid performance after the disappointment of Inferno.
It really was quite the bounce back game. And for Bentet, we said there's not going to be a tournament where he doesn't have one of those games. He ends up at 26-10. No doubt he was the MVP and leading the charge there for the Chinese squad. Well-deserved victory. Going into train, though, that throws everything up in the air. It's going to be quite interesting